Going on, everybody? It's your boy Destroy coming at you with another video. In today's video, since I just got the invite, just like a lot of people did, about MLB 19, the show coming up, and 18 wasn't my favorite game, just because there's a lot of other good games out this year compared to how 17 wasn't that much of a competition, so it allowed me to play more. I just wasn't feeling it as much. I grinded franchise a lot more than I ever have this past year. So this is what my video is about. I'm a big franchise guy, so hopefully other people might chime in, give some suggestions, or agree with me, disagree with me on what I think I'd like to see. Maybe if not in this year, next year, just to make it a better experience for me, and give it a different feeling every time than it has been. So the first thing, just like what everybody else almost 100% agrees with, is create a team / create stadium, all that type of stuff. Stuff to make it feel like it's your own, kind of like how Diamond Dynasty is, but for franchise. So you could keep those players, do all that stuff in franchise. It would be awesome. I know a lot of people would especially love the create a stadium. I love that idea. NHL has that, and I love doing that on NHL. It makes NHL a lot different every time, especially if you're into that stuff. So definitely the creative mode. Some other things I'd like to see back. Something I like to do just to keep it fresh, like I said, is owner mode. I like doing owner mode. Just adds a little more extra for you to do here and there. This one's, it's not as bad not having an owner mode, but with them taking out season mode and upsetting a lot of people, so a lot of people had to switch to franchise. Online franchise got taken out, which they just need something to fill that void in with if they don't in 19. And that's one thing, do an owner mode. Give people a little more to do each time. Yet again, changes for each team. Like, you're not going to have the Red Sox and the White Sox selling the same amount of tickets every game. Ain't going to happen. Especially when you're winning or losing. Just adds a little more extra to do. That's all I want. It's just more stuff to do. More things to make the game different. And just more playable. The other thing I'd like them to eventually put in, and it's just because, like I said, I love franchise, so I love doing this, is retired players. There's players that are on that border of Hall of Fame, and they don't make it in because they don't have the stats. And I've been playing franchise and done so many franchises and try to figure out how a player can get in the Hall of Fame, and it is so complicated and difficult. So I'd like either like a potential line of where a Hall of Fame player has to be as far as stat lines, so if a player is going to be in the Hall of Fame, or two, a multi-year Hall of Fame, to where if a player doesn't get in one year, just like in baseball, they can get voted in a different year. I think that'd be cool, and it's so the player just doesn't disappear as soon as they leave your team, like most of the players do. If they don't hit the Hall of Fame, you pretty much just forget about them. So that's one thing. The other thing I'd like them to change, just because it would make it easier, and I love the way Madden has it, is I'd like them to change the training. Not as much as how it is right now, the auto base running. That's what I keep it on, is the auto, but the base running drills, bullpen. I like that, but what I like is XP. I like how Madden has XP, so you can, after you get so much XP for a player through training and playing and all that, you get to upgrade a specific thing on them. So Adrian Beltre, a slow guy, if I'm like, I want him to be faster, I spend that XP. Granted, he's older, so it costs more. I'm still going to put that speed on him because that's one of his lowest things. I like that. I like it so I can myself upgrade that player. So if I want someone like, let me find someone younger. I made an old team here, so it's not in my favor. Let's just use Brad Miller as an example. I don't know who he is, but I'm just going to use an example. So his contact is what I'm working on right now in the batting cage is 55-50. If I want to specifically work on his contact all year, that's what I want to work on. If maybe I'm like, I got it high enough, I want to switch to something, I want to make sure it's going up. I want to make sure that's something I'm specifically focusing on. MLB has it good, but as you can see, it doesn't. Only certain drills fix certain things. I want to specifically each time focus on something so I know that that's what he's getting upgraded for. I like MLBs, I just love Madden's more. So that's another thing I would like. The other thing I would like for them to add on is the trading system. It is 2018 and we're going into 2019 baseball, and we still only have to where you could trade 3 players. That is ridiculous. Okay, if I have Chris Bryant, and I want some prospects, if I want to load my team with young talent, I want to get like 4 or 5 guys. I'm not saying like potential superstars. I'm saying some like, 20 to 25-year-olds with like, maybe a couple with A or B potential and just some solid like C potential, high 60, low 70 overall players. I don't want to do 3 players because it makes it even harder to pick. That also being said, the other thing I'd like them to add is multi-team trades, which don't happen in baseball that much, if ever. I think baseball is one of other than football, they hardly ever do multi-team trades. It's another thing I'd like them to add. Other than that, the other thing I was thinking of, and it's something that I used to enjoy back in old Madden's, was the free agency. I like how they switched it up this year. It's cool and different compared to how they've done it the recent years. But if you're like me and you don't play with a budget, because everyone knows it's impossible to play with a budget, after you hit like the 3rd or 4th year, you literally can only keep one good guy and everybody else is a low 70 overall because the player wants too much and their morale goes down if you don't pay them what they want. One thing I'd like to see in the free agency is bidding. That way, even if you don't have a budget, it still makes it pretty cool to, if I want Brad Ziegler in the free agency, I probably said his name wrong. Not a big fan of him anyway, so it's okay. If I want him in the offseason, there's 3 other teams that want him, I'm going to offer that deal, and then if he has all the interest at me, he's going to sign with me. I want to do it live in the moment of I got to keep bidding, another team bids, and we just bid each other up. Like if you're playing with a salary cap on, that's a really cool way to do free agency, and I'd like to see that. Like I said, just another thing I'd like to see. And then the other thing, I do believe they don't have it, is... Let me double check. Yep. So the other thing I'd like to see, and I don't believe even they have it in game, is how players play against teams. I'd like to see, like, they have the career, but I'd like to see career versus teams, stuff like that, just to add something different. Like I said, with them taking away a couple things that upset a lot of people, I just want more. Like, the more stuff I could do, the different outcomes every year has, and just makes it more interesting for me. And the last and final thing that has irritated me in the last couple MLBs, and it's only seemed to getting worse, is the Rule 5 draft. Granted, I get it, happens in real life, but I don't like how I have a really good farm system. And if I don't call those guys up or put them on the 40-man roster, they get taken away and I get nothing in return. So I basically have a farm system that gets taken away and I don't get a draft pick or anything like that. That's just one more thing I'd like, just because I've gotten screwed over in some of my franchises of having potential superstars on my team and them just get drafted away in the Rule 5 draft to a different team. Other than that, as far as right now, those are my only complaints. Not even really complaints, just suggestions, just stuff to make franchise better. If you guys have any more suggestions or anything you guys like to see, add it to the comments. If you didn't like anything I said, just let me know why, and maybe I could see it from a different perspective. But like I said, that's all I got for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. See ya.